We've got a major update to talk about when it comes to Julius Randle potentially signing a contract extension with the New York Knicks. We're going to unpack that on today's show. But first, if you love the Knicks and you're a real one, I need your help. Give me a follow on social media. I'm on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm also on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. The first 10 people that give me a follow today, I'm going to give you a follow back. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. Julius Randle is eligible to sign a contract extension with the New York Knicks, and we haven't heard too much about it. But a date has passed, which I think is significant, and it could lead to Randle or the Knicks pushing to get a deal done. Let's start with this. Julius Randle became contract extension eligible with the New York Knicks back on August 3rd. And we told you guys leading up to that date, that was going to be a very significant date this offseason for the Knicks. And as Ian Begley says, there hasn't been much really want to get a deal done from both sides. But he can sign a 4-year extension up to $181.5 million. We saw Jalen Brunson a couple of weeks ago take that major discount. There's maybe been some pressure on Randle to take that discount. I don't know why a deal hasn't gotten done, but it hasn't. But maybe since we have now passed August 20th, Julius Randle, if he now signs his contract extension, he cannot be traded until after the 2025 NBA trade deadline. Because when a player of Randle status signs a deal like that, they cannot be traded for 6 months. And I thought that this was going to be a really big date because Randle doesn't want to sign that extension and then get traded. And we saw Josh Hart go through this situation last summer. He waited one day until he was able to sign that extension and not get traded, pretty much making it certain that he was going to be with the Knicks the entire season. Randle doesn't want to have really an uncertain future at this point. He loves being a Knick. He loves living in New York. He has embraced the city. He has been out and about all summer long, consistently at New York Yankees games. And why would he want to sign a contract extension if the Knicks could still flip him around and trade him by the NBA trade deadline? That was never going to happen. But I want to put this show through the eyes of the New York Knicks with Gerson Rosas, Brock Aller, Leon Rose, and the entire New York Knicks organization, including Worldwide West. Let's think about this from the Knicks perspective. Julius Randle has a player option this summer, meaning if he picks up that player option, he will be under contract for the 2025-2026 season. If he declines that player option, he will be a free agent in less than 7 months, meaning he could sign with any team and the Knicks could lose him for nothing. And that is not what the Knicks want. They don't want to have that really opportunity at all arise. They don't want to lose him for nothing. We saw last year, or just a couple months ago at this point, that the Los Angeles Clippers went through this exact same dilemma with Paul George. And what did he do? He left the Clippers, he signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Clippers got nothing in return. The New York Knicks are way too forward of a thinking organization to put themselves in a position to potentially lose a 2-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Star for nothing. But why have the Knicks maybe not extended that contract is because he's once again coming off a major injury. Reminder, he did separate that shoulder. He had shoulder surgery, ended his season, and now he's coming back and trying to work for that. What about 2 years ago? Had that ankle injury, had to have major ankle surgery, got off to a slow start. On top of 2 major injuries happening for Randle in the last 24 months, he's going to be 30 years old this season. And I think that it is smart for the Knicks to not just go out and give Julius Randle a guaranteed $181 million, as he's going to be 30, coming off 2 major injuries. I don't want to have to say that Randle needs to earn this, but I do think he needs to prove that, 1, he can stay healthy, and 2, he can get back to the form, which was one of the best players in the NBA. Another part of this topic is this. What is Randle's trade value across the association? What do other teams think of him? Because I promise you, the Knicks have talked to other teams about a potential trade for Randle. There's a reason why we have heard Karl Anthony Towns' name time and time again. There was a reason we heard Alperen Sengun's name over this summer. The Knicks have absolutely 100% guaranteed, you can promise yourself that they have talked to other teams about a trade. Fred Katz of The Athletic, he came out with an article talking about Randle's trade value, and he said this: I texted this question of Randle's trade value to someone who works in a rival team's front office and received an answer I expected. His trade value is neutral at best. I truly believe that the Knicks value Julius Randle more than other teams. I don't think teams look at Randle and see a 3-time All-Star and a 2-time All-NBA player, a guy that could lead a team to the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference as the number 1 option with Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock at his side. And the Knicks organization is not going to trade Julius if his value is down. They are not going to accept 50 cents on the dollar. If they are going to trade Julius, it's going to be because A, they're getting a player that is younger, that has more potential. B, they're getting a player that is just as good or better. Those are the only 2 ways, or maybe they are getting a player that might be slightly less talented, but is more of a fit. Maybe a guy that could stretch the floor. Maybe a guy that's got some center capability as well. They are not going to trade him if they can't get back equal value. I also have 2 major talking points I need to discuss on today's show about Randle and a potential extension. But first, I got to let you guys in on a little bit of secret. When you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and you use that promo code CLNS, PrizePicks is going to match your first deposit up to $100. And you could start playing the best daily fantasy sports app in the game. It is daily fantasy sports made easy. How easy? All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply pick more or less on their projected stat line that PrizePicks offers. You can get ready for football season. You can get ready for baseball season. Baseball season is going on. Now you can play baseball, or you can get ready for basketball season. But if you're ready for week 1 of football, get your lineups in. I'm going more on the rushing yards for Devin Singletary. I think Giants are going to be able to run the rock against the Minnesota Vikings. And also, give me the less on rushing yards for Aaron Jones. 2 running backs involved in my 2-player lineup. That Giants defense is going to be able to show up and stop the Minnesota Vikings. Still think Aaron Jones is on the Packers. He's not. He's on the Vikings now. A little bit of a difference. But I'm going more with Singletary, less with Jones. You can roll with my picks or fade my picks. But if you're going to play daily fantasy sports, be a winner and do it with the best in the business. That is PrizePicks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. Put $100 in your account, use the promo code CLNS, and you'll have $200 to game with all football season long, all basketball season long, all year long. Because we love you, I'll make sure that link is clickable down in the comments and description of today's video. Alrighty, what do we want to talk about next? There's not many things, there's not many people in this league that can do what Julius Randle does on a basketball court. I mean, the facts are the facts. A guy can average 25, 10, and 5. He is one of the best power forwards in this league. Whether you hate him, whether you love him, you got to respect the game. He's a 3-time All-Star and a 2-time All-NBA player. There's not many people that have that on their resume. And Julius Randle, he's got that, and he was going to be a 3rd-time All-NBA player this year if he was able to stay healthy. He's a really good player when healthy, when locked in, and he's able to focus. I do worry a little bit about the postseason production. We'll talk about that around the corner. But look, 3 out of the last 4 years, Randle's averaging 24 and 10 to go along with 5 assists and shooting better than 45% from the field and occasionally shooting pretty well from 3. Last year, he didn't shoot well at all, 31.1%. There's not many people in this world rolling out of bed and on a bad night giving you 20, 10, and 5. And that's exactly what Julius Randle does. So you can't ignore that. You also can't ignore the playoff struggles. That's just what it is. I can tell you how good he is in the regular season. We'll also keeping it a buck because I love you and I appreciate you and I wouldn't lie to you about how bad he's been in the playoffs. We can be honest and we can be complimentary. He was really good in the regular season. And if regular season Randle shows up in the playoffs, the Knicks are going to win the NBA Finals. But if this playoff Randle continues to show up in the playoffs, the Knicks are never going to reach the ultimate goal. The guy averages more turnovers than assists in the playoffs. He shoots 34% in the playoffs, and he shoots sub 30% from downtown. And also, the Knicks have to think about this. With the addition of Mikal Bridges, does Julius Randle fit this new team? He fit really well next to OG Anunoby. When Brunson, Randle, and Anunoby all played, they were 11-1. They lost one game, the game I went to against the Dallas Mavericks. I do think he fits this new team. But the question is, what are the Knicks going to do? The Knicks have to make a tough decision because it's not just guaranteed he's going to be able to play well in the playoffs and shake that funk. I think he can. I think he will. But he's got to go out and do it. Doesn't matter what I say. Doesn't matter what you say. Doesn't matter what we believe. If Randle wants to be a part of this team for the foreseeable future, he needs to play his best when the games matter most. And if he doesn't, he might just leave in free agency. And that might be that. What do you think the Knicks should do? Should the Knicks extend Julius Randle before the season starts? That's the way I want to frame this question. Should the Knicks extend Randle via a contract offer before the season starts? Y for yes and for no. Let me know what you think. At this point, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to wait. And I'm going to make sure he has a good year. I'm going to make sure he plays well in the playoffs. And I'm going to make sure that he is going to be able to stay healthy. Another reason I'm not doing it now, because what happens if I give him a contract extension now and he's not ready to play and he's not able to come back healthy? Then I can't trade him till the offseason. And then I'm stuck with him this entire year. Good organizations, they maintain flexibility. And if you put pen to paper right now, that means Randle's here the rest of the year. And that could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. But I want to stay flexible. So for now, I'm going to say no. But if he plays well, let's get it done, and let's make sure that you are a Knick for the foreseeable future. If you haven't yet, please, please, please give me a follow on social media at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, at @MarshallGreen_ on Instagram. Trying to grow my presence over there, and I need help from the Knicks Now, real ones. So give me a follow, and a reminder, first 10 people that give me a follow, I'm going to follow you back.